Diseases affecting millions of people worldwide, caused by an insect-borne parasite called Leishmania, are significant, yet remain a neglected health problem. In the wake of resistance to drugs, new therapeutic alternatives are desirable. The plant kingdom in the past has provided leishmanicidal plant-derived compounds that are effective singly or in combination with anti-leishmanicidal drugs, yet are non-toxic to mammalian host cells. Based on information from the CDC website, roughly 1 million people per year get cutaneous leishmaniasis, which is on your skin, and 300,000 people a year get visceral leishmaniasis, which involves internal organs. Cutaneous leishmaniasis can go away after about 6 to 8 months, but it can also take years and leave very large scars on people, while visceral leishmaniasis, if left untreated, can kill and most likely will kill the person infected with it. The Leishmania parasite has transferred from mammals to sandflies and back and forth, spread around the world into different continents, spreading or creating different varieties. There's basically the South American, African, and Asia different varieties, but the visceral is much more serious than the cutaneous, and if you have cutaneous for a while, it can transform or become visceral leishmaniasis, which is in the internal organ. January of 2014, I was tested positive for leishmaniasis in Peru, and here are some pictures of my wounds. It grew, and then after about 7 months of growing and cleaning it and using various herbs that it was recommended by locals and things that I could research, it then healed or started closing up and has healed over. So here's my wrist about 6 months after closing up. A little over a year after after contracting it. Here are some images of the parasite in the bloodstream. It basically feeds off your nutrients into blood cells and reproduces, causing anemia and some other problems. Female sandflies are the main vector or source of leishmaniasis parasite being transferred to humans. Here's some images and videos trying to familiarize everyone with what sandflies look like. And if you're in a place with lots of sandflies, like warm tropical areas that are wet, what you want to do is basically cover your arms and stuff and sleep with a bug net. Try to get bit as least as possible. Here's photos that are pretty gruesome of cutaneous leishmaniasis. Things that can happen, can get a lot worse even, but it's pretty sad. For the treatment methods of leishmaniasis, first of all, you want to keep it clean, and then it's up to you if you want to go to the doctor and get adamantane B injections for a couple weeks, or if you're able to, you can go try to find miltefosine, which has less side effects and is much more effective against the parasite, but it's almost impossible to find. I have done a lot of research and looking for plants that are useful, as well as asking around. As you can see, the amorphotyrosine B, the injection that most doctors will prescribe you, is known for lethal side effects. Miltefosine has little side effects, 60% have nausea and vomiting, but it's very difficult to find. Before I get into all the useful plants for leishmaniasis, I'd like to suggest that people do not just go and buy antiparasitic formula off the internet, because a lot of times they have combinations of herbs and plants which are useful for most parasites, but they also have side effects of cytotoxins and toxicity, and if it's not using plants that are specific for the parasite you're trying to kill, you're going to need to use more of it, and it's still probably going to have a less percentage to kill than the ones that are more specific for this parasite that you're trying to get rid of, and you're going to end up with more toxicity and possibly psychological problems or other things that you don't want to deal with. So what I suggest is finding plants that you can find locally that have high percentage to kill ratios for how much you use. What I found a lot of the time when I was looking up plants is there's things like tropical trees in the Amazon that people just aren't going to be able to find. You might be able to find copaiba oil locally because it's pretty popular, but most of these trees you're not going to be able to find. So when I found one of these studies that used easy to find things, I was really happy, and also that it showed very high kill rates for the parasites and the mastigotes, which are like the eggs in your bloodstream. This published research paper is the best one that I could find, or the one that I like the most, because it used plants that almost everybody can get a hold of. For their extraction, they used ethanol at 90%, basically alcohol, and extracted it for 48 hours. Alright, from this list, the ones in bold signify strong growth inhibition, and one of my favorite ones for using was lemongrass because of the taste and relatively low cytotoxin effects. Secondly, I used chamomile quite a bit, also very high for growth inhibition of the parasite. And the third one I didn't really use was pepper. It can be easily found in black pepper. The strongest one, which I also didn't use because I could not get a hold of in South America, is tansy, and it also has some toxic effects, so you might want to be careful with that. This next study shows copaiba oil has been used to reduce the size and growth of Leishmaniasis in rats. It's a tropical tree that has been used for collecting the oil, and in the future may be used for biodiesel. Here is a couple other studies with some harder to find plants that I don't really feel like going into, but they have good results, so you can look up the names if you feel encouraged to. This paper shows that Artemisium absinthe, or wormwood, which is commonly used in most antiparasitic formulas, is not effective against Leishmaniasis. So it's important to look up what things are useful. Also, it shows interesting things that mangoes are effective. So is bamboo. But who's going to eat a bunch of bamboo? I love bamboo though. Also a native tree to Florida. And also, I think we should promote this stuff so we can stop animal testing. So, for a quick review, my favorite things are copaiba oil, lemongrass, chamomile, possibly black pepper or tansy, but not really my favorites, mangoes. And then the basic things are you want to keep your arms and stuff covered when you're in a warm tropical area with lots of sandflies. You're going to want to clean out your wound, keep it clean, wash it, possibly use alcohol or hydrogen peroxide. I've read good things about them, but I'm kind of iffy still. I'd much rather use an herbal tea with something like chamomile or lemongrass. Well, I also used neem, and I used various other things that I was recommended by local Peruvians and Ecuadorians. So basically, I think that's it. If you have Leishmania, I hope you have a good, speedy recovery, and if you want to, go with the drugs from the doctors, because it's much better if you don't have any side effects from that to get rid of the parasite, whichever way you can. Personally though, I did not want to go get 21 days of injections as was recommended, especially after looking up on the internet that is possibly lethal. So I used various herbs, and it might have just been time itself, allowing my body to take over the parasite, as can typically happen with cutaneous leishmaniasis. Also, it's a good idea to eat very healthily while you have the parasite. My main symptoms were anemia and my wound that was just like an open cavity and growing ever so slowly. But yeah, so eat a healthy diet, lots of water, so your body's not trying to deal with other toxins while trying to deal with the parasite. All right. Good luck. Have a good one. Keep looking up stuff.